that he's Colonel now, Rogers, should have stayed in the jail. But none of them incidents occurred when he was in the jail. So.
Very well. Moving on, Mr. Pope, what would you do to reduce the $61 million budget?
Do we have enough time? Well, you know, here's the thing, okay? It's all about doing more with less, okay? Ultimately, you know, the sheriff is only as good as the people he surrounds himself with, okay? With that being said, the sheriff really needs to look out for the men and women that are doing the job, okay? His priorities should be, in light of everything that we are seeing today on a national level, okay? Training, education, equipment, so that the families of every one of those deputies knows that when they go out and they perform their duties as an officer, they're going to come back, okay? The monies that the sheriff has within his budget should not be utilized to pad the pockets of an administrator or any of his command staff that's probably making $90,000, $95,000, $100,000 a year. Okay, I have a problem with that. It may be in most cases, correct me if I'm wrong, even more. Okay, we have a stacked command staff. Okay, there needs to be a realignment of the command staff, and more priorities need to be towards the deputies, the men and women that do the job. With that being said, there also needs to be a type of promotion process where the men and women that perform the job, okay, are promoted based on their ability to perform the job and not who they know. So with a 61.5, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, that's jumped 4 or 5 million within the last 3 or 4 years, and it continues. You know, some of the things we have to look at is a hospital expansion, okay? We have to staff that, okay? There's going to be salaries involved in that, okay? We've got a healthcare that we're going to be utilized that's under contract, okay? I'm not quite sure the millions and $1 million that the taxpayers are going to be invested in that, but that also has to stop. So there's a number of other things that can be done too, creating divisions within the agencies, such as traffic and drug addiction units, a realignment of the staff. Those are just some of the things that I would do to bring that budget down.
Ms. Mello.
Again, when I was a jail administrator, we took a close look at how the jail was being operated. We looked at personnel. We reassigned personnel. We saved over $500,000. We didn't fire anybody. We didn't have to fire anybody. We had civilians doing jobs that... We had certified people doing jobs that civilians should have been doing. Okay, so we just moved people around, reassigned things, reassigned responsibilities. But I want to talk about command staff too. I want to go back when Sheriff Clement took over the sheriff's office, okay? I want to look at what the population here in Charlotte County was then and what the sheriff's office was ran with. It was actually run with a sheriff, a colonel, 1 major, 4 captains. Today it's run with, it's going to be interesting, okay? A sheriff, a colonel, I think we're up to 4, maybe 5 majors. We just promoted another one to captain last week. I don't know how many captains there are anymore. I lost count. I look at the jail and how the jail was run. We had a captain and a lieutenant and sergeants. Right? The jail has grown. I get it. But now it's run by a major, 2 captains. I don't know how many lieutenants. I lost count. I think there's 10. Okay? I'm looking at command staff. All of these people making in excess of $70,000 a year. You want to know why the budget keeps going up? Because we keep creating more command staff. I'm not going to blame this on Bill Prummell. He inherited this. He inherited it no different than Cameron inherited it from Clement. But it shouldn't have happened then. I mean, and it's continually gone, and no one's corrected it. And this is public record, and I can provide it to anybody that wants to see it.
Mr. Richard?
I think we can reallocate manpower, reallocate monies that are there in the budget. There's always fat in every budget. I do believe that. I believe that there's a position in the sheriff's office could be civilianized, like fleet. Why do you need a certified captain making $95,000 a year running fleet? Now I know he's been moved, but a few months ago he was running fleet with 2 people underneath him. That's ridiculous. Then the sheriff has an intelligence-based policing unit, and there's a captain, a lieutenant, a sergeant, a corporal, and I believe a couple civilians. Now in salary alone, I've added up their salaries. I have a list of the salaries here. $350,000. Now that's not their whole benefit package. That's just salaries. And an intelligence-based, who's supervising who? You got a captain of road patrol supervising 112 deputies. There's 28 in each district. Now, what's his span of control? A lot. What's the captain's span of control of intelligence-based policing? Okay? When I was in Intel, we had 4 people. I happened to be a corporal. I really wasn't a supervisor. I just happened to be a corporal at the time. But we didn't have all that brass in there and all the rank in there. Like I said, civilian, intelligence-led policing, current vacant positions. There are people that have just retired. The sheriff claims he's not going to fill these positions unless he gets elected. You're going to see him fill these positions after he gets elected because people are already jockeying for positions. I mean, I hear information from deputies just like the other candidates do. And there's a major position, Major Carroll just retired. Captain Robinson just retired. And there's a couple other captain positions, but I'm sure they'll get filled if Sheriff Prummell happens to win. And there's another 95 to him. And a Major Anderson right now, he's making 108,000. So there's another 108,000, another major's going to make. So I have to agree with these other candidates. Command staff's out of control.
Mr. Angelini?
Yeah, each of the past 4 years, I have some numbers here. You see an increase in the Sheriff's Office budget from $54.5 million in 2012 to $58 million in 2014. And now it is at $61.2 million. Now, my question to everyone, are you getting if I add up right, a $7 million increase in service? And the saying is, slum area won't be safe, and that is a phrase that you will hear from a traditional sheriff. And folks, I submit to you that in today's more educated world, it doesn't cut it anymore. Our citizens know that law enforcement costs money, but the important focus of the budget should be the quality of what you're buying. And I always use this. If you go to a restaurant and you get really poor service, meaning it took an hour for you to sit down, they give you the wrong drink, the food is cold, do you go back? Most of us probably not. And the reason why is because the quality of service is the most important part. Now, it kind of translates into the sheriff's office. If you go to the sheriff's office and you get really poor service, maybe it took them an hour to get there. When they get there, the service wasn't that good. Can you choose to go to another sheriff's office? Absolutely not. So where's the incentive to give good service? Folks, it's not about the money. It's about the leadership. Now, aside from the better quality service that for your money, we will focus on a business model that promotes better transparency, incorporates business metrics to ensure that our folks are spending your money wisely. Now, getting to the question, I think we need to work together to identify ways to reduce the budget with our county commissioners without reduction of service, which I think we can. We all know the majority of the budget, probably 88%, it deals with salaries and benefits. And Dale said a couple things also. We could look at this sworn personnel versus non-sworn personnel. Meaning we could save lots of money if we make a sworn position into a non-sworn position. And now you're talking about salaries, thousands of dollars, benefits, training, and equipment. I will look in with the county commissioners to maybe leverage their private sector knowledge. Most of the people are involved with the business, they're business owners. So these are the things that we can do to identify maybe to reduce the budget. And we can reduce the budget, but we've got to make sure we don't reduce the reduction of any of our service, meaning don't take people off the street and so forth. Thank you.
And Sheriff Prummell?
Thank you, Ken. Absolutely incorrect. And also, my current command staff is completely full. There's no positions being added. There's no other positions budgeted for. As for the increases in the budget, there are a couple different reasons why the budget increased. As I spoke earlier, I was able to get those much-needed raises for the staff of the sheriff's office. I actually had an independent agency come in and do a salary study of the office. and made recommendations on where our salaries need to be, and we made those adjustments. They also made the recommendation that my senior command staff wasn't being paid enough comparatively with other agencies, but I did not raise their salaries. They have entered into a contract with me that their salary is based off a percentage of my salary. My salary, of course, is based on the population, a formula that's developed through the population. So if my salary goes up, theirs will go up. If mine goes down, theirs goes down. And I can tell you, this last year, the average raise they got was $200. So I'm not overpaying my command staff. And as for span of control, the different sections, units, divisions, they're staffed based on span of control, and that's the number of people they supervise and or their responsibilities within that particular unit, section, or division. So that's how we do that. Now, some of the other things that kind of brought up the budget that people kind of forget is the county asked me to take over complete security of the courthouse. So that added to my budget at their request. That was additional staffing that was added to the courthouse. We also put school resource officers in every public school. That added to the budget. And as I stated before, we were able to update some of the much-needed equipment that needed updating. And also, I have to answer for Senate Bill 7012, which occurs each and every year, where they raise FRS. Last year, the contributions that we had to pay out were more than $900,000. This year, they're $231,000. In addition to that, we go through the budget line item by line item. We look at stuff each and every year as to decide what we need. And we look at ways to cut costs. And the last several years, our health care has gone down. I don't know of too many agencies who can say that they cut their health care, but with our wellness initiatives and things we have done, we've cut health care funding. We've also been able to cut our fuel budget. But I've always said, too, that I thought it was funny when the fuel prices rose and everything else rose with it. But when fuel prices came down, not everything came down with it. The cost of equipment and doing business is getting more and more expensive. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. And some things we need to take into consideration for the future is the growth of Charlotte County. The Babcock project is underway. They're expecting by 2023 to potentially have 50,000 residents. That is practically a third of our current population. Do you not think that the sheriff's office is going to grow with that? I believe we are. We just need to grow smartly. Thank you.
And along that same vein, Sheriff, will let you start off with the budget being affected by the medical addition to the jail and the new offices for sheriffs in West County. How do you feel that's going to be affecting the budget?
Well, it is correct. The new infirmary is going to cost, we're going to have some additional staffing in there. So we're going to see some staffing increases. As for the West County project, we're going to have a new facility. That doesn't mean I'm adding any new people out there right now. That just means we're going into a new facility. It's going to be more of a green building, more cost effective, and it's also allowing the county to take the old administration building, which they plan on knocking down, and building a new building there because it's a very old building. We grew out of that many, many years ago. It was actually slated to be built back in 2008. They were going to build a new District 1 facility out there, which is the Englewood District, and it got cut because of the recession. Well, we were able to bring it back up because we've really outgrown that building. But my staff is not going to increase in Englewood right now. But it's going to allow us to run an efficient operation out there. Plus, when I have ancillary units out working in that area, they have a place to work out of, where right now there's no room in the office they're in.
All right, this obviously